And we're going to talk about those primarily today, because looking at just using the modern methods, we're going to be able to see, for example, if a couple has the basic core connection, the basic foundation of a relationship. Then we're going to see what their hidden strengths and weaknesses are, what their soulmate connections are, and what the whole relationship is about. So what are the aspects? The aspects between the planets are conjunction, when each occupy the same house, opposition, which is 7-7, trine, 5-9, and 3-11. Those are considered the positive aspects. Okay? Then the negative ones are the 2-12, secret enemies. These are what one you would call the Tajika aspects from Tajika astrology. Okay? The 4-10 and the 6-8. Now, the moon is still of primary importance because it rules our emotion, our ability to get rasa from life, to suck the marrow, the juice of life. But so is the lagna, because the lagna is what makes us unique. You know, just change your lagna, move an hour forward or backwards, and your life experience completely changes. And so if that's the case, your relationships would completely change as well. So we have to take into account the lagna. And so for these 4 cornerstones, the lagna and the moon are equal, as well as for the ancient methods, like Yoni, Vashya, Stri, Dirga. All of them I take from the lagna and from the moon. Okay? And I give them equal weight. And I know some astrologers don't do that. They stick to pretty much, you know, the moon is, you know, king or queen. But, you know, I think the lagna is equally important. And that's one of the big sort of points of departure I have with, you know, with the ancient system. And I don't think it's a point of departure. I think it's just for the kings and the queens during the time, I think they did use the lagna. But for everyone else, it was just, oh, what's your moon? Okay, great. Chitra moon. And you? Swati moon. Okay. And they have this table, right? Okay, you can easily compare Chitra and Swati. So, yes, so equal value. But for the modern method, we look at these 4 cornerstones plus the lagna lord. Okay, other questions? All right, let's keep moving. By the way, let me know if and when you guys need a break, because I'm just inclined to go to power right through, you know, for the full length of this seminar. But if you need a break, a 5-minute, 10-minute, just let me know, okay? Okay. So what we want to look at is, okay, things look good on the surface for this couple. What are the scenes? What are the things that are behind the scenes that may obstruct this couple? Jupiter's influence will act as a benefic, as a supporting factor. I call it sweet vibes. Saturn will act as a detrimental factor. Yes, so my Saturn on your sun, whichever way it goes, is going to create a friction against authority. One person is going to want to control the other. Usually the Saturn person is going to, and the other will feel resentment for it. My Saturn on your moon is going to create a sense of coldness and emotional distance. Saturn influencing the ascendant, there will be a physical, he may be critical of her figure, or she may be critical of his lifestyle. You know, why are your feet constantly dirty when you get into bed? You know, there'll be problems around your physical habits. And one person, again, wanting to control and discipline the other. However, there is something that I call a soulmate bonus. Do you see this here, this box?
Yes.
Anytime there is a connection that is 1.5 degrees or less, you apply the soulmate bonus. If it's a positive connection, you're going to give an extra 1.5 points. If it's a negative connection, an extra 1.5 negative points. So here Saturn, because of his proximity, is going to get minus 5.5. Why did I add, why is this a thing, the soulmate bonus? What I found is that I call it the soulmate bonus because when planets are very tightly aspecting something else, another planet or the lagna, think about how difficult it is to line up two charts to have these very precise aspects. Rahu-Ketu in the beginning acts like glue, but towards the middle, as a relationship wears on, after 1.5 years of the relationship, that glue will dry up. And if there's nothing there but Rahu-Ketu, it will turn into a liability. So in the beginning, it's going to feel like +7, because Rahu's in the beginning is so exciting. But then after about 1.5 years, why do I say 1.5 years? It takes 1.5 years for Rahu to cross one Rashi. After 1.5 years, it's going to feel like -3. Because that +2, when you subtract 5 from it, becomes -3. And now this is not a good relationship. Any relationship that's in the minus in its total score is bad, a bad match. Raju means rope in Sanskrit. And it's the rope that ties two people together, but you would think that's good, right? But no, it ties two people in a negative way. Like so codependence, like, you have Raju with the person who insults you, and you can't walk away from it. You want to insult them back. Like, you shouldn't, you should just walk away, but like part of you says, no, I got to give them a piece of my mind. So yeah, so Raju is an unhealthy connection. And so if you have Raju in the head, it's bad for the husband, for the man. And it says the husband will die. Well, death doesn't mean he dies, but he might check out. Husband comes home, don't bother me, I'm watching the TV. He's checked out. Or the husband leaves. Either physically or emotionally, the husband checks out. And yet, their relationship lasted 10 years. But they were constantly bickering and fighting. And twice divorced. Why did they stay together so long? Probably this. That sense of, oh my God, I found my true soulmate. And some of this Rahu, I'm sure. Because remember, we gave Rahu only 5 points, but if we took its 5-9 aspect, there would have been probably 5 or 10 more. Because remember, his Rahu aspected her Lagna and Venus. So we could add 2 more scores. Let's just say +3 and +3. This could easily be ±11, which would in the beginning make this +19, so it feels really strong, but later it'll bring it into the negative. So again, Rahu is tough. Rahu is shady and difficult to work with, but does this give you kind of a snapshot in the sense, let me just return to number 4. So who am I to you? Well, look, in some sense, because 3 out of these 4 are negative, these people are going to light up a negative part of the karma. They're going to use the other person to show them, to give them the fruit of their negative karma. The 12th house is travel. It's the good things are travel and spirituality, but the bad things are bed pleasures, laziness, addiction, self-undoing, secrets and lies, stuff like that. The sixth house is ill health. The only good thing they have is the ninth house. So they're going to be a source of sixth house and 12th house to each other, which is not a good thing.